Chegou a hora da nossa entrevista com David Watchell, que é diretor global da Esri para a indústria de saneamento. Vamos tratar aqui das mudanças recentes no segmento de saneamento, destacando algumas tendências no uso das geotecnologias que podem ser valiosas para o nosso público aqui no Brasil. Contamos mais uma vez aqui no estúdio com a presença do Antônio Vilela, que é Country Manager da Esri para o Brasil. Seja bem-vindo aí mais uma vez, Antônio. Obrigado aí por me apoiar nessa entrevista.
Eu que agradeço, é um grande prazer estar aqui novamente.
Nessa dinâmica aí que a gente vai realizar. Vilela, mais uma vez, antes da gente começar as nossas perguntas para o David, gostaria de saber qual a sua visão sobre o momento no qual a indústria de saneamento está vivenciando nesse período de pandemia aqui no nosso país.
Felipe, obrigado mais uma vez. O prazer é todo meu de receber o convite de vocês para estar aqui conversando com todos vocês. Enfim, como a gente viu na entrevista nas elétricas, aqui em águas temos um cenário bastante semelhante. Então, os problemas no mundo das utilities, esta explosão de dados exigem maneiras muito mais sofisticadas de gerenciar, examinar e comunicar as informações para os usuários, para os clientes. Então, o sistema ArcGIS habilita as empresas de utilities para fazer isso com um modelo de dados moderno, ferramentas analíticas prontas para usar, mapas e aplicativos prontos, já configurados e muito fáceis de utilização. Então, o ArcGIS é um sistema completo de informações geográficas. Ele permite que as empresas de utility, no caso aqui a gente está falando das empresas de águas, tenha uma plataforma espacial moderna que realmente vai criar valor para toda a empresa de utility de serviços públicos. Então, eu destacaria alguns pontos que o sistema ArcGIS ele ajuda diretamente e contribui diretamente nas operações das empresas de vocês. O primeiro deles, e eu acho que o mais óbvio, é a gestão dos ativos. Então, o sistema ArcGIS da Esri oferece e suporta uma abordagem holística para gerenciar os ativos. A nossa tecnologia é baseada, obviamente, em localização e fornece percepções sobre o desempenho dos ativos, os riscos, o uso dos recursos e, obviamente, a gestão dos custos. O segundo ponto que eu quero destacar é em relação à inteligência operacional, ou seja, permite que as empresas de vocês tenham percepções inovadoras para gerenciar as operações. E isso vai aumentar a nossa consciência de situação, vai nos dar insights sobre as ineficiências e, obviamente, vai fazer com que a gente tome decisões mais acertadas. O terceiro ponto é o engajamento com o cliente. Então, obviamente, ter um sistema como o nosso vai melhorar a satisfação do cliente, porque vai fornecer informações vitais às equipes de atendimento que estão atendendo o público, vai fornecer dados em tempo real por meio de mapas e aplicativos para realmente entender com transparência e compreender o que está acontecendo. E o último ponto que eu quero destacar é realmente que o sistema ArcGIS suporta os fluxos de trabalho, projetos com soluções que vão aumentar, obviamente, o nosso retorno financeiro. Então, analisar os projetos, fornecer estes fluxos de trabalhos essenciais e compartilhar informações dos ativos com todas as partes interessadas. Isto tudo com um grande sistema de engajamento para partilhar a informação não só internamente na organização, mas também com o público em geral.
Excelente introdução, Vilela. Mais uma vez aí, muito obrigado. Vou aproveitar então te dar as honras dessa vez de começar a entrevista com o nosso convidado.
Felipe, eu que agradeço aí mais uma vez a oportunidade. Então, vamos começar aqui o nosso bate-papo com o David. O David, como o Felipe falou mais cedo, ele é o nosso diretor global para a indústria de águas. David, seja muito bem-vindo, muito obrigado aí pelo seu tempo. Enfim, no intuito de linkar com o que eu acabei de falar, mas agora realmente vindo da fonte que deve vir, David, quais são os principais desafios de hoje para a indústria de saneamento e como o GIS está sendo usado para enfrentar esses desafios.
Yeah, hey, thank you, Antonio and Felipe. It's a pleasure to be here today with you. I'm also going to be joined by a colleague of mine, Vincent Bortino, who's going to demonstrate some of our technology for you. So, Antonio, that's a great first question. It's a great place to start. There are an array of challenges in the industry today, financial, environmental, demographic, and technological. But today, the most pressing issue is still aging infrastructure. Our systems are becoming more and more costly to operate, maintain, and rehabilitate. Second, the workforce is aging as well. Over the last decade, about a third of the industry will be eligible for retirement. And so many of these individuals will be taking critical institutional knowledge out the door with them. The third biggest challenge is the impact on or from climate change. So there's an increased number of severe storm, flooding, and drought events that are happening across the globe, and utilities in some cases are just not prepared for some of these unexpected events. And then the fourth one is with technology. With the advancement of technology, water utilities are really challenged with keeping up. So what do I mean when I say technology challenges, or how can I describe those? And so we can organize those into three key areas. The first is representing the real world digitally requires capabilities to accurately trace the system, model flow, work in subnetworks, and model complex assets in both 2D and increasingly today in 3D. Next, many utilities are challenged with integrating data from multiple systems. Siloed data sets. Efforts to reduce costs, increase efficiencies, and meet the rising expectations by customers are placing even greater pressure on water utilities to remove these silos and gain insight and understanding across these multiple systems. And then finally, water utilities need their information in the field 24 hours a day on any device and in both connected and disconnected environments. So Esri is helping to overcome these challenges with a complete and connected system of systems. The system of record serves as the authoritative repository for all the assets. It also provides capabilities for sophisticated modeling, tools to address the tracing, and even modeling and analyzing in subnetworks. And right now, I'd say that network modernization is probably the most critical aspect to any digital transformation initiative. The system of engagement shares the data stored within the system of record to a broader group of users to address the field office collaboration workflow challenges. Our apps are being used extensively across the industry and helping to transform these workflows. And then the system of insights takes the information from both of these systems and uses it to perform analysis to derive a better understanding of how the overall utility is performing. And then when deployed across the utility, these systems integrated with other real-time measurements act as a powerful framework for managing modern utilities. So when utilities are using ArcGIS holistically, they can start to begin to address these technology challenges with a system designed specifically to meet those specific needs.
Excelente, David. Bom, você mencionou que um dos aspectos fundamentais da transformação digital é o gerenciamento moderno das redes. Nesse sentido, conta pra gente como as empresas de saneamento estão atuando nessa modernização dessas redes.
Sure, Felipe. Modernizing networks is not necessarily a simple task because the data is so intensive. However, effective management of infrastructure really requires operators to think about their systems more holistically rather than just the individual assets. So organizations really need to not only understand where their critical assets are, but the relationships and the connectivity between them. So for example, in the event of a main break, Organizations need to understand how to or which valves to close in order to minimize the impact of the service disruption on the fewest number of households or businesses. Or another example, in the event of a power outage at a wastewater lift station, to know which manholes are going to be at the greatest risk to overflow. The water utility industry has been undergoing a major change in terms of its systems and its processes, and this calls for a new approach for network management. The RTS utility network has been designed with that modern approach in mind. So with the emergence of smart water and other digital transformation initiatives, water utilities need to better model what's actually in the field or in their plants, including sophisticated devices that haven't traditionally been modeled in a GIS, as well as features within the walls of the facilities, and all with detailed rule-based connectivity. So with more accurate and detailed modeling enabled, a whole new level of visualization and analysis becomes possible. And the RTS utility network includes the solutions and the framework to reveal hidden patterns and enable analytics that otherwise are impractical or haven't been able to be done in the past. And the resultant business intelligence supports the data-driven management and the performance optimization of utilities that have really been difficult to achieve in an organization's current state. The underlying architecture of the utility network exposes its cross-platform capabilities to other systems. And so sharing between the mission-critical systems, the data silos, simplifies data maintenance and system integration. And it starts to allow for the sharing and collaboration on any device within the organization. This is actually done through web services. So the utility network is a web services-based technology that then provides access across the desktop, the mobile, and the web, providing really a true platform for collaboration. So now Vince is going to show you how a modern digital network can be used for both planning and response scenarios.
Thanks, Dave. Detailed modeling is the foundation of a smart network. Modern network management allows utilities to accurately model their assets as they are in the real world. This accurate representation serves as a system of record, ultimately serving as the backbone for that smart network. This enables utilities to have more detailed asset tracking and more informative analyses results. Here we're looking at an isolated area for planned construction along Jane Avenue. Now, throughout the planning process, utility departments are looking for specific scenarios that may require work post-construction. Now, through the use of schematic diagrams, we can identify such scenarios. For example, here's that isolated area we just looked at on the map in a hierarchical view. It gives us the ability to visualize the dead-end area that would require hydrant flushing to return clean service to our customers. But at first glance, it may be difficult to understand where that dead end may be based off of the schematic. So let's take a look at it side by side. At this point, we can actually highlight the area of the dead end and propagate it to the map to better understand the geographical representation or location of that asset. And as we zoom out, we can see that it is the dead end of your court. But this is throughout planning processes. What about those emergency situations when field workers are out in the field and need to have this type of analysis at their fingertips? Modern network management enables pervasive access, meaning these analyses are capable across all smart devices. Now, for a scenario of an emergency main break in that same location, we can provide tracing capabilities to field staff. They can simply drop a point at the location of that break and quickly run a trace to identify the isolated area. In a matter of moments, we'll return that same isolated area and have the ability to close those valves very quickly and effectively to manage that outage efficiently. Modern network management provides analyses and detailed asset tracking across all devices to anyone for any scenario. Back to you, Dave.
Obrigado, David. Enfim, o tema do IoT, o tema do tempo real, do Big Data, ele é um tema muito presente aí, enfim, acho que em todos os segmentos, principalmente aqui no nosso segmento de utility. Especificamente no segmento de águas, de saneamento. O IoT e os sistemas em tempo real, de forma geral, como é que estão impactando o nosso segmento?
Well, yes, it is, Antonio, but maybe not as quickly as the industry would like. Today, utilities have far greater access to real-time information than they have in the past. This data is coming from a variety of sources. It's coming from SCADA systems, Internet of Things devices, automated vehicle location systems, weather, and even social media. The challenge is that this data is not easy to combine into a single information products that enables good decision making. However, Esri's real-time capabilities have been designed to bridge that gap and add that crucial location component to the utility's time-based data. Esri's been supporting this capability with extensions to ArcGIS Enterprise, GeoEvent Server, and GeoAnalytics Server. And now we're also supporting it in ArcGIS Online with a new capability called ArcGIS Velocity. This is completely cloud-based, so utilities can analyze their streaming data on maps and dashboards, they can identify temporal patterns, and they can extract location-based intelligence, all while working at scale in Esri's geospatial cloud. Examples of a few of these real-time applications for water utilities that you see on the screen here include HRSD's integration of over 200 pressure sensors to monitor and share with both staff in the office and in the field. Sammamish Plateau Water has integrated with their SCADA to create an alerting system that's able to provide critical data to users outside of the SCADA platform. And Central Arkansas's crew tracking system helps them manage work in real time to gain efficiencies in their workforce. So now Vince is going to demonstrate how real-time data can be brought together into a single view to help support the day-to-day workflows of utility.
Thanks, Dave. Real-time GIS operates just as any other web GIS, except location information and attributes are streamed directly from external business systems directly into GIS in a real-time fashion. Here we're looking at a real-time dashboard with curated bookmarks of areas throughout our system that have real-time data feeds associated with them. Let's jump to the pump station, where we can find water pumps and a water tank with real-time data feeds associated. As this loads, we'll start to understand the current reads, flow rate, pressure, and see when that reading came in just a few moments ago. More importantly, we have the ability to store in related records the historical reads so that we can identify historical trends and patterns through analyses within GIS. Midstream processing enables us to identify statuses and alerts and notifications in the case of status changes. Here we can see that this water tank status is currently normal. And based off of its percentage full, we can keep that status. Now, as reads come in, statuses can change based off of the percent full thresholds. And again, we're able to store this historical information for analysis purposes. Now, the benefit of real-time GIS comes when you start to utilize it in conjunction with one another. Here, we're looking at a DMA within our water system with flow meters calculating the inflow to that DMA. We can certainly see that we have the same type of real-time data feeds associated and that historical data. But what we can do is utilize that in conjunction with the specific individual service connection consumption to start to identify average consumption throughout that specific area, as well as understanding spikes and increases in consumption potentially notifying us of an issue. Now, as we zoom out, what we can see is that one of the inflow meters is now at a warning status. We can see that because it's spiked, we now know that there's a potential issue. We now see that through AVL and real-time data feeds that we have a local service vehicle who can go over and start checking out that DMA for potential issues. The great thing about real-time GIS acting as web GIS is that field staff have this information right at their fingertips, just as we do in the office. So what does it look like from the field worker's point of view? As I pull up my iPad, we can see that same map with that same real-time data feed association. We can see where we are on the map in this service vehicle, WT93, but we can also see that there in fact is a warning status on that inflow meter. Now, as I go through from the field worker perspective, I can start to understand and look for any issues. And as I notice that that read has now come back in an alert status that there is seriously an issue going on, I need to identify the location of that issue and address it immediately and effectively. Now, as I come into Farrington Court, I've noticed that there is a large growing pile of water in the street. There seems to be a leak with visible damage. So I can immediately start collecting information, specifically a leak issue. There's significant water leaking with visible damage. I can start to fill out this information, and this information will be relayed back into my office in real time. I can say that this does require immediate attention. I know that this is going to be a distribution main. I'm going to leave the date resolved blank and add in a quick comment. Visible damage. I can submit that, and everyone back in the office that has access to GIS now has access to the information that I've had. Real-time GIS enables everyone to have up-to-date information on what's going on at that very moment at your utility. Real-time data feeds update information on an ongoing basis, providing real-time results and analyses for everyone at your utility. Thanks, Dave. Back to you.
Excelente. Bom, você pode compartilhar conosco como as empresas de saneamento estão usando os avanços mais recentes do GIS para oferecer suporte aos fluxos dos trabalhos de campo?
Well, yes, Felipe, this is super important because about 75% of all utility staff work in a role outside of the office. So this creates a significant coordination and collaboration challenge. So a GIS as the solution, serving as a system of engagement, can enable better coordination, collaboration, and data sharing in real time across departments and across teams, from field crews and plant operators to customer service representatives. ArcGIS location enables many aspects of field work. This includes planning, coordinating, collecting, and monitoring what's going on in the field. Maps in the field enable field crews to explore what's going on in real time in both a connected and a disconnected environment. And ArcGIS also supports location tracking. This is a simple feature that allows organizations to work more collaboratively and safely. Data capture and inspections and surveys are at the center of many of our users' fieldwork. ArcGIS Collector and Survey 123 have been widely used for this. And late last year, we released ArcGIS Field Maps, an all-in-one app that uses data-driven maps to help field workers perform mobile data collection and editing. It also helps them find assets and information and report the real-time information or their real-time location. But what's most important is how these apps bring this information together to coordinate operations. So Vince is going to show you now how these field apps are used to support an everyday inspection workflow at a utility.
Thanks, Dave. Coordinating operations enables utilities to perform daily tasks efficiently and effectively. If we think back to modern network management, we had identified a hydrant that needed to be flushed prior to restoring clean water service to our customers. If we navigate to your court and select the hydrant at the dead end, we can create an assignment based off that location. We can select an assignment type and select the field personnel to take that task. We can see all active employees, how many assignments each of them have, as well as their location in relation to the location of the assignment. We can select Vince because he's 0.2 miles away, and we want to restore service as quickly as possible. I want to give it a high priority and a due date of tonight, in just a few minutes, actually, so we can get it done quickly. And I want to add in a quick description of the work I want performed. I can also add in any files I need Vince to have access to, such as an operator's manual, to perform his work. I can create that assignment, and very quickly, I can now have Vince pull up his iPad and simulate the field personnel. He quickly has that hydrant flush assignment, and once he's there, he can start that assignment. When he's ready to start collecting information, he can open it in Field Maps and have that hydrant selected and verify its location and attribution. When he's ready, he can start flushing and collect the hydrant flushing record. He's prompted to put in his name, and ultimately, through SmartForm capabilities, we're now prompted for more information once we put our name in. I can pull in the date and time of my iPad. The static pressure is 80 psi. I flushed approximately 3,408 gallons through that hydrant. And I can add in some notes. Completed hydrant flush. I can submit that record, and in just a matter of moments, that information will be reflected across my WebGIS. It's really important to note that we're storing these types of records in related tables because we can go back and use them for historical analysis, just as we did for the real-time data feeds with the SCADA pumps and tanks. In a matter of moments, the data that we collected out in the field is now reflected in our dashboard. We can select this record and verify that it's the hydrant on your court that we just flushed. This dashboard also gives us more information. We can see the inspector progress, a breakdown of how many flushing assignments each inspector has done. We can also see the total amount of gallons flushed per hydrant, as well as throughout the entire operations. But dashboards don't only give us information regarding the data we're collecting out in the field. Let's take a look at a water consumption monitoring dashboard, where we can dive deeper into individual pressure zones, start to understand consumption through residential within that pressure zone, commercial in that pressure zone, and even understanding an asset summary of each pressure zone, giving us insight to understand what each pressure zone consists of and what the highs and lows of those types of consumers are. Coordinating these operations gives us the ability to respond and complete daily tasks efficiently and effectively. And the dashboards give us an operational overview of data that's collected, as well as other GIS and related data that we have accessible to us to make informed decisions. Thanks, Dave. Back to you.
Perfeito, Dave. E conta pra gente como é que as concessionárias de água, enfim, no mundo, aí, com o seu conhecimento, não só no mercado brasileiro, mas em outros mercados, como é que as concessionárias de água estão aproveitando os novos recursos dos sistemas de informação geográfica nas instalações e nas estações de tratamento?
Antonio, this is the fastest growing area of GIS in the industry. Traditionally, GIS has been used to model 2D assets, 2D linear assets, like water, wastewater, and stormwater pipe networks. So now, Esri is taking GIS indoors. We're providing tools for mapping, modeling, and managing three-dimensional assets, such as treatment plants and other facilities, like pump stations, lift stations, or well houses. So by integrating design and engineering models with real-time sensor and control system data, ArcGIS provides easy access to maintenance records. And it delivers lifelike visualizations of facilities like you're seeing on the screen here. GIS enables better understanding of complex 3D systems and structures and assemblies at any point in the vertical asset lifecycle, from design and construction to operations and maintenance. Many of our customers and partners, like the ones that you see on the screen here, are doing really amazing work to create stunning 3D plant models. And they're even connecting 3D features with SCADA and other real-time systems to create operational dashboards for plants. And one more example is what Raleigh Water is doing to build 3D models to support ArcGIS Indoors, which is used to do asset management within their treatment plants. And then finally, Coachella Water District has developed a realistic 3D model of their wastewater treatment facility using drone technology. So when looking at how to use GIS for facilities, there are a number of technology opportunities with ArcGIS. There's the utility network that I mentioned earlier. It supports 3D viewing, 3D modeling. There's ArcGIS Indoors that's being used to support asset management in treatment plants and facilities. There's GeoBIM to integrate with other CAD data sources. And then finally, simply using 3D scenes to bring those visualizations to life.
Bom, sensacional, Dave. Pena que a gente não pode realmente continuar, porque o papo está super bom. Eu vou finalizar então com a seguinte pergunta. Como é que as empresas e as organizações que estão começando esse processo de transformação digital, para essas empresas, quais as recomendações ou sugestões que você daria, Dave?
Yes, Antonio, that's a great question. I get that question asked quite often, and I like to just respond with what I observed from seeing other successful utilities doing. The first thing is to focus on the business problem. Start with the why instead of the what and the how. Next, identify some quick wins and help people understand what the potential is, and then move on from there. It's okay to have some uncertainty with what you're doing. Understand the importance of iterating through the business problem and try not to solve it all at once. Configure first, use what you have, understand what it will and won't do, and then iterate from there. Many of our customers often find that our out-of-the-box apps or solutions will do 80 to 90% of what they need. And finally, and most importantly, and if it's not you, find someone with passion to get it done. Strategies, plans, technology, it'll only take you so far. It's people that make the difference. So Antonio, Felipe, thank you for including myself and Vince in this session, and we hope that each and every viewer will be able to take at least one valuable idea back to their organization. So thank you.
Excelentes respostas, hein? Muito bom.
Excelente, o papo foi demais, tanto com o Dave agora, quanto com o Matt mais cedo. Nossa, são enriquecedoras estas conversas, eu aprendo demais, foi demais, muito bom.
Gostamos bastante, que oportunidade então receber esses insights diretamente aí de vocês. E espero então que todos tenham gostado, o nosso evento continua, a discussão continua, o nosso time de especialistas está aqui no chat e vamos aí batendo um papo a todo momento e obrigado a todos.
Pessoal, muito obrigado e a gente se vê no próximo de Telecom, né?